Hey guys, so here's today's gear, just like the last 2 days. Chiseled Face Midnight Stag, and the aftershave to match, and the cologne will be in today's shaves too. Karve Christopher Bradley, and this is the B solid bar plate with a 3¼ inch gladius handle. And then if I can remember the numbers, maybe 011842, something like that, is the Omega model number for this. This is the Jade Connaught. It's a faux jade handle here from Connaught Shaving, and it's an Omega knot. You can see it's not very dense. However, it's got plenty of bristles to do the job. It feels really nice on my face. A nice spread out brush that has good coverage and a big feel. Easy flow through, that kind of thing. So I'm a big fan. All right, let's go ahead and put the Nacet blade here on the razor. You can see the one right there and the N up there, and the old Sharpie dots there, and the little bend in the blade right there. 225, I think, was the use where I dropped the razor top cap and it had the blade still in it, and so I got that bend. And so this month of Austere August, we're gonna just shave with this kit that I just told you about all month long. Got into some poison ivy today, doing some chainsaw work, and so I really had to give myself a good shower with Dawn and harsh soap to try to make sure I don't have any adverse reaction to it. And so I do have a cleaner face than usual. And we'll keep working on the soap. The usage that we did yesterday, the load time was 15 seconds, and that still ended up to be way too much. So let's go down to 10 seconds and see what happens, because after all, we are leaving a little bit of moisture in the soap since we're using this same soap each day. And so therefore, if we were to pull this off the shelf after 3 months, 4 months of use, of non-use, then our load time can definitely, and you almost always, is longer if in that situation. But use it day after day, and you can have nice, short, convenient, quick load times if you want to use the same soap. So I'm going to shake out much of the brush here, and then let's try 10 seconds. 52, going to start at 52. We'll go to 02. I shook the brush out, but this brush just seems to keep some water in it. Oops, see, I went too far, because in 10 seconds just doesn't take very long. I think maybe I went 11 seconds. I will go ahead and kind of dump this, kind of rake the excess here into the bowl, just because I don't know. Just seems wasteful, even though it's probably not wasteful. Probably just a penny's worth of soap right there or something, maybe even less. All right, let me tilt you down, and then we'll put you in the lather view. So I got my face wet. Now with some soaps, this is very important, this stage here, where we're not really adding water to the lather. We are just making sure we get a good homogeneous mixture of the soap and the existing water that's in the brush. Soaps like Williams and Mystic Water, a few soaps out there, it's just really important to get a good paste here, a concentration, before you start adding water. Other soaps aren't as picky, and you can just kind of maybe add water right from the start. You know, if you know that a couple of teaspoons is what you need, it's not a problem. But if you're having lather problems, one thing to give a shot, one thing to try is to do this method where you just kind of work that initial paste up first before you start adding water. So again, it looks like we have going to have plenty of soap to do the job, even with just 11 seconds of loading. This is a good soap base, and so it responds well to plenty of water. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that in those terms, because it's possible that a good soap could be designed where it doesn't need as much water, and so just because it can take a lot of water doesn't mean it's a good soap base. I guess I just mean I don't have to worry too much about adding too much water, because this guy behaves very well when he's got plenty of water. Right now we're looking at 15 milliliters. Keep adding just a little bit. And when you're adding in small quantities, you might not have to work each quantity in all the way before you keep adding, because the mixing that you're doing, like after you're adding the third amount that you're adding, the third small quantity, that's still kind of mixing in the first one if you didn't complete it the whole way. And so you could play around with shorter times of mixing between small additions of water if you wanted to do that. Now look at the nice pillowy goodness there. I think maybe just a little bit more. This Persian jar shaped handle is not super long, but since they put the saddle, the low part of the handle near the end here, you do get a little bit of convenience with keeping your fingers out of the lather there. So very pillowy and light. You can see that texture. Look how elastic that is. Let's go with that. That is 11 seconds of loading and 20 milliliters of water. So let's just see how that adds up when we get it on the face. It's kind of late at night, and so we're dealing with a little bit more than a day's growth, but not quite 2 days, and so that's good. It'll be a little nicer shave. Got some water on my face again. Brush just, has a very soft feel, very light scrub, because it doesn't have a whole lot of density, and the backbone is very easy going here. It's not floppy by any means. And it's quite a departure from some of the other Omega brushes, and then the Smogs as well don't quite have this width. And this backbone, the Smogs are a little easier going than this for the most part. And so it's a little different from both of those groups. Zenith has a short and scrubby brush, you know, that I wonder might kind of resemble this one. Definitely not over watered. You can see kind of the buildup of the lather here on the side of the brush. And I think we've worked it in long enough. I usually like a little bit longer, but it's late and I still have a little bit of work to do before I go to bed. All right, Nacet. So this will be shave 410 on this blade. Just a light bit of tugging, since I didn't wait too long between shaves. Good thing about Austere August is I'm definitely motivated to shave every day. Stephen Joyner jumped in from Dogwood Handcrafts after the competition started and let us know that he was gonna give prizes away for people who are using Midnight Stag. That is a regular side challenge that he does. And there we go. For some reason, a little bit more tuggy on my left side. That may have been the side of the razor that has a little bend on it, you know. Can usually tell the difference between the two sides. Let's get a good rinse, or at least a partial one. If you hear me, if you know that both my hands are not occupied, I've got poison ivy from a week ago and I keep scratching it down through my shorts. I'm not scratching it actually live, and so hopefully I'm not doing any more damage. I am very allergic. And that one is I've got some poison ivy in my yard. And I got too close to it when I was mowing. And then I didn't notice it until it was too late, you know, and unfortunately it had just kind of spread around. You know how that goes. I wonder what percentage of people are allergic to poison ivy. I bet it's a majority. I bet it's more than 50%, right? All right, cross grain now. If you're using a blade for a really long time and you're just curious how long you want to do some record setting or something, I usually find that I have to migrate up the aggression scale. Maybe when the razor blade hits about 50, 40 uses, I'm not able to keep using it with mild razors. But I've had to go back to the mild razors at this count where I am now, so high, because to get a great shave, right here I've had to go against the grain just a touch. All right, quick little rinse there. Wonderful scent. I really like it. Definitely people who have tried the Midnight Stag Challenge because of the wonderful prizes offered by Stephen. And so, if you ever want to try Midnight Stag and you want cheap gear, then check in September on the used market. Because there may be guys who tried it and know they're not going to do it again, and so they sell their gear, right? There I go, scratching my leg again. Just a light lather here. I am really mentally considering the thought that the idea of a dense lather may not be something worth chasing down. It's a word often used to describe good lathers. But I wonder if it's dense, then is that just another way of saying that it needs more water, you know? So this is the third pass, and I am going to go ahead and switch and do cross grain right here, because on the fourth pass I'm going to come here and do a more aggressive angle. Now, I like the protective qualities of a slick, wet lather. The slickness is higher almost always, and you get that the slickness protects you because it gets into your skin and prevents wear on the blade, and the slickness allows the blade to glide over your skin instead of grabbing at it, right? And so with a dense lather that's not as wet, it may look great in photos and it may feel luxurious to your skin, but if it's a little drier than it could be, then is that less protective? After that third pass, we have a nice feel on the skin. My cheeks very soft, very slick and well cut, you know. So we'll just do a neck pass here. And this brush just feels really good. Yeah, it's not going to have as soft a feel as synthetics. I mean, but the backbone I like a whole lot better than synthetics. And there's something about a natural brush, and especially the bores, that they change as you use them. And so there's this neat relationship you get with them. Oh no, this is super comfy. Passes 1 and 2 had a little bit of tugginess to them. But this is very nice. But what I was saying about a dense lather, I wonder if... now, one thing I do know, I do suspect, is that if you do have a lather that's maybe not as wet as I particularly might prefer, then you can help your situation by working it in just a little bit extra to into your skin, because it needs to be, at least it seems to me, it needs to be kind of bonded in with your skin to protect it, right? And I think a really wet lather does that more easily and more quickly. But if you do have a drier lather, if you spent more time kind of working it in, then maybe you can get those same protective qualities. Maybe I might try that out this month and see what kind of, if I can use a little bit drier of a lather and feel just as good about it. And after a rinse, we have a nice close cut today. Just a little bit of length in a couple of hairs, not too bad at all. Really very nice. And it's that against the grain pass or slight against the grain aspect that we just now did that makes that possible. Otherwise, I think I'd have to give up on this blade, at least on this side. I'd have to flip it over. Just for scientific curiosity, I am keeping this blade oriented in one direction the whole time. 410 uses now. I am keeping that little one that I pointed out to you, the Sharpie dots, that's always pointed toward the handle. And just to be, I think it's been a wonderful experiment, because I've been able to say, guys, it doesn't matter really how you flip your blade. If you've got good technique, then your blade's going to be sharp for a nice long time. Putting my blade down here on the washcloth and patting it very gently, and we'll rinse off my razor pieces there a little bit more at the end of the shave. I did not end up having to tweak the lather with any more water, so 21 milliliters was used today, 10, 11 seconds of loading, and I still got, I still have 6, 7 passes of lather here, so I can keep going with a shorter and shorter time. This is what the brush looks like after a good toweling to kind of get it as dry as possible. Another nice thing about having such good airflow between the bristles here and having it not be just ultra dense, it's wide but not dense, is that it has a great aspect where you're preventing mold and mildew and things like that, because with that good airflow, it just takes a little bit of drying there and you're good to go. And my face right now, I might have had a tuggy feel in the first and second passes, but all that is long gone. Very comfortable. I don't feel any irritation at all. So let's hit myself up with the Aftershave Splash. This one is more than Chiseled Face, does put more goodies in their splash than just alcohol and water and menthol. I'm sorry, alcohol and fragrance and menthol. Very nice. All right, yeah, well, my face actually got into the poison ivy today. I had to get down in the brush with a little chainsaw and cut down some dead trees. And I got it all over my head and face, but I was very quick to jump in the shower and wash really well. I believe, my dad says, and I believe it's probably true, Dawn dish detergent. It's a degreaser. It breaks up grease, and since the problematic part of a poison ivy plant is an oil that gets on your skin, then that is going to have a nice ability to disperse that oil and get it off of you as a degreaser, because that's the whole job of a degreaser. Now we have the Midnight Stag soap. Part of the challenge is 1 spray during the first week of August. Second week of August, 2 sprays. Well, I like it on my wrists, and so I am doing 2 sprays, and so we'll double up with 2 sprays on each wrist, 4 total sprays next week. Oh man, what a great scent. I keep raving with that every time, right? Because it just releases something different and positive that I really enjoy. A toasty wood, a roasty wood kind of a scent to it. A smoky roasty wood. Just wonderful. All right, very good. Let's clean up some gear. And just a small little reminder, this white label is an older design that they did. The current one, they have 2 soap versions available at Chiseled Face. They have this same soap base that I'm using today, a tallow that they've had for a good number of years. And then they also have the silk tallow. And it is one where you have to use a lot more product because it's got oils and butters and things like that. It seems to be it's a lower structure lather, and it feels a little bit perhaps more luxurious than this one, than this tallow base here. But it uses like 3-4 times as much product to get that same lather. But this is the older label, and so I wanted to explain that. They do have a newer Chiseled Face label, but this one I won at auction. Pretty cool. And I do have the other one that I used 2 years ago. It's a scent that I like so much that I definitely have some backups on and duplication, and I don't mind that at all. Keep forgetting my Sharpies, so I'm having to make my dots with my ballpoint pen. And as you know, sometimes those take a little bit to get started. And I'm going to put the Nacet blade in here. One nice thing about keeping it, I stopped keeping it in the little paper. Here's the the original Nacet paper that I put 300 dots on. I stopped keeping it in there because I was afraid the paper was going to give out because of all the folding and unfolding. I was afraid the little tabs would wear out and tear, you know. So another thing about keeping it in the index card is that's a dry medium, and so if there's a little bit of moisture on the blade, a little micro moisture, then my theory is that that dry environment can help to be a desiccant and pull that moisture out. And there we go, guys, an enjoyable shave. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I hope that this one has brought you some benefit for your shaving journey, even if it's just watching this blade go on and on. How about that, huh? Just proof that in most cases, with good technique and good slippery lathers that prevent wear on your blade, that you can get a blade to go quite a good ways. Maybe not 400 uses, you know, but certainly maybe longer than 3 to 5, which is kind of a current myth that's going around. All right, guys, take care. Good night.